For years, I've been underemployed and have been working at jobs that were beneath me. And I know I'm better than that. I know I'm smarter than that.
I went into corporate America and I found it wasn't for me.
I found that I was lacking, there was a hole.
And it actually showed me who I was.
If I didn't come to college, I probably would be dead.
It was less about I knew exactly where I wanted to be in my life as that I knew I needed something different.
I want better for my life, and I want better for my kids.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee, and I believe that education is the key to helping people live a better life around the world. Learn how you can make a difference in your life, your family's life, or someone that you care about by understanding how education is truly a higher calling.
It's interesting, but if we need an operation for our health, we don't tell the doctor, cut here, not there. We simply let the professionals do what they spent years of medical training learning how to do. If the firemen have to come to save our burning home, we don't try and tell them how to do their job. We gratefully stand aside and let them do their courageous work. What's strange is that although we like to think of God as being a God of love and joy, when it comes to giving Him control of our lives, we somehow have a completely different attitude. Like Jonah, we run from His plans for us, fearing that His way would ruin our lives. It's ironic that we think we can ignore the leading of the God who created us, and instead feel that our plans for our own lives are somehow better.
You know, as a little kid growing up in Hope, Arkansas, my parents drilled into me the value of an education because they didn't have one. I'm the first male in my family, all the way back as far as we can find, that even graduated high school, much less went to college. And I can tell you that I would probably be eking out a bare existence somewhere. And in this kind of economy, without an education, your job opportunities are extraordinarily limited. The things that I have done, not just being governor, but traveling the world and seeing the things I've seen, enjoying the things I've enjoyed, really come down to one thing. I had parents who, even though they didn't have an education, they understood the value, maybe because they didn't have it, and they insisted that whatever else I attained in life, I was going to get an education, I was going to study, and I'd better do well. And I'm grateful to God for parents who helped me understand that this was a vital part of what God had placed me on earth for, was to grow, to develop, not only spiritually, but also intellectually.
While some people seeking higher education are often blocked by a lack of finances or support from loved ones, there are others who must overcome hurdles that don't appear to be hurdles at all. For Ray Greer Jr., it was the blessing of a family business and the expectation that he would assume the mantle of leading it.
Well, I grew up being raised by my grandparents. We grew up in a rural setting. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, contractor to be exact. My grandmother was a factory worker, and so they didn't have much education. I think my grandfather may have had a third grade education. My grandmother did graduate from high school, but she didn't get a chance to complete and finish college. So education was really important to them for various reasons. Number one, because they didn't get a chance to complete theirs, and so they wanted all of us to have a good education. And that was the driving force for them pushing me. High school was wonderful. I participated in sports, played football, some basketball. They pushed a lot of extra activities. I did good in school because I was forced to by them. So education was really important to them. And after high school, I followed my grandfather's footsteps, worked with him with the business for about 5 years. After I assumed the actual leadership role of the business, I took it on full time, renamed the business after my name, and it kind of developed into a growing industry of some sort. So I was doing quite well as an entrepreneur, became a major contractor here in the city of Memphis, and was doing quite good.
Ray inherited a successful concrete company run on hard work and a strong reputation. He not only continued those standards, he added other effective business practices that grew it to even greater success.
It's a basic story, but yet it's a powerful story. Because my granddaddy had groomed me all my years, my younger years from the beginning, to own and operate my own business. It was my destiny. Concrete had called me, and my grandfather was a Christian, and I became the recipient of that business, and it was lucrative. I thought he made a lot of money, but incorporating 21st century tools, marketing, websites, commercials, positioning myself with the right network of people, I took what he made and doubled it, and we lived a very good life. It was very lucrative. I didn't want to do anything else but become that particular contractor my grandfather never had been, And the doors had begun to open where my name was becoming a household name. And I didn't even have to advertise. People were calling me because the word was out. Call Greer Concrete. Other companies give what they can. We give you what you want. So everything was going fine. But God just kind of slapped me off my horse and somehow, some way convinced me that even though I was successful at the business, it wasn't the success he had for my life. The business was just, if you will, an albatross, a paradigm, a model to show me that this is what you can do with nothing.
After succeeding so well in business, Ray knew his life was changing. A spiritual calling clearly revealed itself to him. Within days, he determined he would follow that calling. But much as he had moved directly into his grandfather's business and met success, he expected the same success when he became a pastor at Salem Baptist Church in Mason, Tennessee.
It was a struggle for me because I knew that there was a chance of pastoring this particular church that it would cause me to suffer financially. And I really had to make a decision. Do I choose God or do I choose the welfare of living a lavish life? I really rebuked God. I said, okay, God, you're having a bad day. You're not talking to me clearly. You get some sleep and check back with me in the morning and let's see where we are. But I noticed God began to pull away networks, long life friends in the business. God began to remove them from me, caused the business to suffer a lot. Still gifted, still had the wherewithal, the tools, but no business. And God came back and said, listen, I want you to pastor a church. And if you don't want to do it willingly, there are other ways around this. And of course I submitted, and because of the submission I gave to the Lord, then the doors opened on the church side. So that's how we ended up pastoring. It was definitely a calling. The reason I know it was a calling because I didn't want to go. I was very comfortable where I was, but something compelled me, and I couldn't rest, couldn't sleep. And I had a mentor by the name of Leroy Bailey, who was a pastor in Connecticut. And he and I was discussing the church and the purpose I had for the church and what God has given me. And he asked me, had I considered going to school? And at that point, of course, it was no. And he reprimanded me. And he said, if you're going to take this serious, you need to educate yourself and get a good education so you can be a good pastor to the people. And, you know, after talking to him and sharing with him, I was compelled to go to school, and I didn't know where to go. And I just started searching and searching, and I stumbled across this campus, and that began my journey going to school here.
Ray carried the self-confidence and history of business success into his ministry studies at the university. But he quickly learned he was going to need to study hard and open his mind to new ideas if he was going to become an effective pastor and minister at his church.
I learned I didn't know as much as I thought I did. I assumed that I was well-equipped, ready for the task of pastoring. It was until I got on this campus and actually went to a couple of classes that I discovered I wasn't really as bright as I thought I was. And even though I was filled with zeal, kind of like what Paul said, it had a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. And this particular university put me on track. It showed me some gifts that were hidden, and it showed me how to enhance some gifts I had that I didn't know I could even take it to another level.
So Ray pursued the proper education to become a minister, while he continued to serve at the church and raise a family. While he tried to give total focus to his studies, it wasn't long before new challenges began to mushroom and challenge his plans.
I remember the very first day of class, all the students piling in the room, and there I was, about 12 years older than everybody else, and their minds were so bright, and hearing them talk about the other courses they had, and I was sitting there thinking, this is my first time being in school for quite some time, and I'm just gonna get lost, and I don't know if I made the right decision. I'll be glad when this class is over so I can drop it. And something extraordinary happened that never had happened to me before, and that is, and it may be simple to others, but it was powerful to me. When class began, the teacher looked across the room, took the roll course, and he said these words I'll never forget. He said, are there any prayer concerns? And that caught me off guard. I mean, I was sitting there and I was thinking academic. And he asked that question and people began to raise their hand and give prayer concerns. And he prayed for the class. And that gave me so much strength and so much confidence and so much faith that he would take the time to see what the concerns of people were and to pray for them. There were very many obstacles. Pastoring, having a family to take care of, still running the business as well, and then coming to a campus to take class. Time was really of the essence. I just didn't have a lot of time. It's very critical to form good time management skills, and I really had to reschedule my whole life to fit college into it. Not only that, but because I was dedicating more time to the ministry as well as more time to the educational aspect of it, it took away from time for me to be able to make money. I was accustomed to a certain amount of money that was coming in as a business owner, and that soon went away, and it just ate away at the foundation. So there was a lot of challenges with time, a lot of challenges with finances, financial hurdles. So it was real difficult. It was not easy. It created a uncomfortable environment in terms of myself being able to try to be everything to every organization. It took away my balance, to say the least. So there was a lot of challenges. Didn't have much time to myself. Had to make decisions, which was more important. What do I sacrifice?
Today, Ray is getting closer to his degree and completing training for ministry. During his studies, he's putting what he learns to use with the congregation he serves at Salem Baptist Church. Ray believes the journey he is on can serve as an example for others who have yet to achieve their own dream through higher education.
In terms of learning, I don't think I ever get to a place where I can say truthfully, I've learned all that I can learn. I came to Victory not to get a better job. I hit that. Most people came here with seeking a better education to get a better job. With me, it was more so securing the calling to walk where God's called me to walk. So my education level wasn't to determine a better job. I was making all the money I need to make. It was just that I'm hungry and I want knowledge and I'm thirsty for that. And the Bible tells me if I'm hungry after knowledge, He would feed me. And this college has served as my buffet line. I mean, it has really given me all the knowledge and support I need. When I look at a person who is young, who have a lot of energy and trying to decide what they want to do with their life, and they begin to rule out the fact, I don't know if I'm able to go to college because these set of parameters are against me, I can look at them and say, listen, I'm doing it. The Lord is blessing me and graced me to do it well. And if I can do it, you can do it. And I become exemplary to the people, God, that I serve, to people in the community. And I just believe that if you put your mind to it, put God first, apply the effort, and God will honor you for your sacrifices. And so I think the long-term impact is that I just believe that I'm victorious.